Good afternoon, honorable adjudicators, honorable propositions team, and esteemed audience. I, Keysyah Oktaviani from Sman 90 Jakarta, would like to state my arguments to oppose the propositions team arguments about the motion where this House believes that dynasty are harmful for democracy. So, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. The propositions team stated that democracy are like some kind of talented show. Democracy are society's free will to choose or to vote. If people freely choose a familiar name, such as for example, they choose someone or they choose a candidate because they familiar with the name because he or she is the son of the government, then that is their choice, that is their right, that is their free will to vote. Calling it monarchy in some kind of way insults voters' intelligence. The voters will not choose them if they don't search for the candidate's competence first. The motion did not state that the societies are forced to vote the family member. That is for sure. They still have free will to choose whoever they wanted to choose. If you are talking about power asymmetric, well, power asymmetric exists everywhere. The proposition ignores how non-dynastic elites also dominate. Tech billionaires such as Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk sway more policies than most politicians. At least dynasties still face election, unlike uncountable oligarchs. You also mentioned that the Philippines Marcos and the Bangladesh Hasina families. Well, as for a fact, I'm stating this as for a fact, they won re-election because of tangible development. People choose them. People vote for them. People vote for them again. They are not forced. If the dynasty deliver nothing, voters or public will protest. They will do a protest. Does that ring a bell to you? Well, this is the same just like as we Indonesian did to Suharto back then. Random politicians aren't as experienced unlike some dynasty. The exact harm we are talking about comes from bad people, bad actors, bad politicians, not the dynasty themselves. What matters is the competence, people competence, the candidate competence. We cannot just ban or underestimate someone just because they are from that family, just because they are the member of the dynasty family. I mean, do you think it's fair to bar a doctor child from medical school? Then why should we ban leader's child from politics if he or she are qualified? The harmful in this context isn't actually dynasty. Even if some dynasty abuse power, just like your example, maybe the Philippines or the Bangladesh family, corruption still exists anyway. Corruption still exists equally among the non-dynastic leaders. Half of the corruptors in Indonesia does not belong or does not come from a dynastic family or does not have the background of a politician family. Isn't that right? Dynasty aren't uniquely harmful. Maybe just think of it. People or someone who does not come from a dynasty family, just some outsiders, if they are elected, they are more likely to corrupt. Why? Because they never taste or they never have seated in that position before. They never have the power. They never tasted the power. That is in some kind of way that would increase the corruption because in human nature, a human, if they never tasted power before, once they taste power, they will never be satisfied. That is the human nature. You can think of it. So by choosing the dynasty candidates, that means people already trust him or her to be the candidates. They trust their candidates. They trust their vote to him or her because they think that, oh, he or she already tasted this power. She would never do corrupt. Maybe you guys can say it in that some kind of way. So, basically, by choosing or like by choosing the dynasty family, this will reduce the corruption statistic. So, and democracy means trusting voters. The proposition dynasty panic distract us from the real reforms, such as transparency, term limits, and voter education. If dynasty are monarchy, then opposing them is just like saying that the voters are too dumb to choose. You claim that dynasty limit competition, but you also ignore how outsider candidates rose to power. If democracy are rigged, then why a nobody from Solo beats someone whose family has deep military ties? We do not need to ban dynasty. We need stronger institution, term limit, transparent funding, anti-nepotism law. But the propositions team would rather scapegoat some families rather than fixing the law or fixing the system. If a farmer child can inherit land, if a doctor child can inherit a clinic, then why a leader child cannot inherit a campaign poster? Either trust voters or admit that you do not believe in democracy. The real threat? The real threat is outsiders, oligarchs buying power with dark money. Focus on regulating cash, not surnames. And that is why I am proud to oppose the propositions team arguments. Thank you.